Hey WILDR folks, Alicia here. I want to know if you are making this specific nutrition mistake that I have seen over and over again with clients and friends. Now, this time of year can feel like a flurry of hiking and biking and running and climbing and just enjoying the summer while it's here. I was out on a long run with a friend the other day and she mentioned that she's feeling weaker now than she was in spring, and she's noticed that she's losing muscle and gaining fat despite being way more active right now than any other time of year. Now, there's a lot of reasons that this could be happening, and if you're seeing your weight fluctuate massively, you need to talk to your doctor. But with a lot of my clients, there's been one nutrition tip that helps them stay both lean and energetic throughout the entirety of summer. And before I go on, remember that having body fat is essential to living. You should not be trying to have no body fat. But if you are noticing that you are gaining fat and losing muscle and it's negatively affecting your day-to-day life, it can be frustrating and exceptionally confusing. The first step a lot of people take is to reduce their caloric intake. This is a huge mistake, and I'm going to talk about why in a minute. But first, we need to back it up and talk about macronutrients. Macronutrients provide the fuel we need for our day-to-day life and also the building blocks for the tissues that make us up. Fat is an incredibly efficient source of fuel when we're working at a low intensity, think hiking, walking, or me talking on camera now, and it also helps regulate our hormones. Carbohydrates are our muscles' fuel of choice, particularly when working at a high intensity, because it's easy for us to break them down inside our muscles to give us energy really fast, and we're also really good at moving those carbohydrates around the body to where they're needed. But the macronutrient I want to tell you about today, I want to zoom in on and help you conquer, is protein. Now, protein is the building blocks of our muscles. So when we go and do a run or a hike and our muscles break down, we use the protein we have eaten to rebuild our muscle fibers, often bigger and stronger than they are before. Your body is always breaking down and rebuilding tissues. That's a part of being alive. It's part of vitality. But we get some extra breakdown when we do those big days out or we perform at a high intensity. And so we need that protein on site to help rebuild our muscles. We can also use protein as an energy source. And here's the kick: if you don't have protein available from other sources, your body will break down those muscles to use for fuel. So if they doesn't have protein on site to rebuild after, you're going to suffer muscle loss. I'm going to talk about exactly how much you need and how to know if you're getting enough. Now, in general, I will often see people under eating when they're out on the trails. I think this is for two reasons. The first one is that when you are out and active, your body isn't in a rest and digest state. And so that can actually blunt our hunger signals and we cannot notice that we're hungry. The second, and I see this more with gals than guys, to be honest, is that we don't want to overfuel. We are afraid of overeating, and so we ignore those hunger signals when we're doing activity or after the activity. And particularly because protein sources can be a little bit harder to pack and a little tougher to find, I find that folks really undereat protein when they're out on the trail. And because protein contains those building blocks, the amino acids that our body needs to rebuild the muscles that we might be breaking down for fuel, if we undereat, we are essentially fueling our activity with our muscles. So we're gonna have less muscles as time goes on. And here's the big kick, is that that muscle is metabolically active when we're at rest. So it's burning calories while you're asleep, while you're sitting at the computer, while you're doing things that don't involve being active. So if over time your muscle mass goes down, the number of calories you need per day also goes down, which can lead to the deposition or the storing of fat by your body. If this is you, you might think, okay, I just need to add a little bit more protein to your diet, but I would suggest that maybe you take a step back first. Do a 3-day nutrition track first. You can use an app like MyFitnessPal and just write down everything you've eaten. While you're doing this, make sure you don't change your diet just because you're writing it down. Eat as you normally do. We want to get a snapshot of where you're at. At the end of that, I want you to see how many grams of protein you're getting from your food per day. So in MyFitnessPal or whatever app you're using, instead of just looking at your calories, make sure you switch to the mode where you can see the grams of each macronutrient per day. And this is where I want you to be between 1.6 grams per kilogram to 2.6 grams per kilogram of protein intake per day. Now, I eat at the top end of that range, but if you're below 1.6, I think that's where you really need to focus on increasing it. And sure, after that, we can start to look at calories eaten per day, but I really think that you need to change one thing about your nutrition at a time, see what happens to your body, see how you feel as a result, and then make further changes based on that. And an extra tip is you need to make sure that if you're going out and doing something active, you're having protein at the beginning of the day so that those amino acids are ready and available. And you need to make sure that you have more amino acids available within 30 minutes of ending the activity. So I make sure I'm eating protein as I go, as long as my body can digest it while I'm out and about. And protein on the trail can be kind of fun to try and get. I love dried edamame beans, I love jerky, I love protein bars and lentils mixed in with my lunch. But you want to find something that works for you, and remember to check your nutrition labels. Some jerky at the store will actually have more fat and carbs than it has actual protein, so it just depends on the specific food. And if you want help reviewing this, you could actually join our Adventure Ready crew. We follow the same workout programs to be ready for adventures of all kinds at any moment. And through there, you can be guided through doing a 3-day nutrition track. I hope this tip was helpful and you bring it out on the trails. Have a wilder week. We'll talk to you soon.